Hello, all my Sagittarius friends, and welcome to my channel. So for today's video, this is going to be your July 2020 predictions. We are going to dive in and see what the month of July has in store for you guys. So whether you are a Sagittarius or you have Sagittarius in your sun, moon, rising, then this is going to be the video for you, okay? So I have gone ahead and shuffled the cards. We are going to start with your tarot cards, and then we will go through your oracle cards all together. Okay, so if you are not subscribed, please go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel after you view this video. If you enjoyed today's content, please go ahead and like the video. This really helps the channel just to kind of get me to connect with more people like yourselves. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy what comes through today. And we're going to go ahead and get started with your messages. Okay, so we're actually going to go ahead and move this off to the side, and we're going to start with your tarot cards. So the first card that we have is the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Judgment in reverse, the Page of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, lots of pentacles we got so far, and the Eight of Swords. Okay, so Sagittarius, what is going on for the month of July? Okay, so just to kind of fill you guys in real quickly, how I like to do these readings is I usually like to start with the beginning, middle, and end of the month. So I will be kind of reading them in chronological order from left to right, okay? So we're going to start over here with the beginning of the month. So you guys have the Queen of Pentacles and the Judgment card in reverse. So this to me kind of tells me that there are definitely some changes coming about at the beginning of the month here with the Judgment card in reverse. Now, this change could be a life change, one in which either you are or not prepared for, but either way, it's coming. Okay, and this is something in which you might feel a little maybe unprepared for, or one in which that, like I said, you're not necessarily ready or were expecting. For some of you, this might be relatively unexpected, okay? But I feel like this is something that, it's almost like you kind of have to roll with the punches, whether you feel like this is good or bad. It's definitely something that, might be, or not might be, that will be coming your way here. But it's really, again, just kind of dependent on how you take this change, okay? Now, what I love about the Queen of Pentacles here, though, is to me, this is kind of more so sticking to like, the good vibes here. Okay. Now this can definitely, I feel like have to do with finances. Okay. Or like with your career, just because the pentacles do typically tend to deal with our finances, our career, our home life. Okay. In that regard. So I feel like because she is in the upright position, this is going to be, I think, more so a positive thing for you. This might have been unexpected here for sure, but I think this is going to be something in which you're going to see is going to be very beneficial in the long run, or it's going to make you feel abundant in the long run, okay? Now, one thing I do like about the Queen of Pentacles as well is that this is also a reminder that abundance comes in all forms. It doesn't have to necessarily mean money or, finances, as I mentioned. This can mean, again, just kind of feeling very abundant, feeling very fulfilled in your life, whether this is within your relationships, your home life, friendships, inner circle, things of that nature. Whatever you find gives you fulfillment is really where, the Queen of Pentacles kind of comes into play here. So I feel like, with this change here, with this Judgment card in the reverse, the Queen of Pentacles is more so just like a reassurance that, things are going to work out, that, there are other things around you in which are going to remind you, that you do have, a lot of other things to not necessarily be grateful for, but, that do fulfill you as well. Like, just because this change might be sudden, it doesn't mean that you don't have, things to be thankful for, or things in which that do still provide you happiness. Okay, so that's what I see there with the beginning of the month. Now, middle of the month, we've got the Page of Pentacles here. Now, the Page of Pentacles is more so, I view it more like as the scholar card, and it's usually that way in tarot. What that means is that this is somebody almost like being a student, being a learner, someone who's ready to kind of like start a new, like a new path for themselves, to just trying to like either grow, trying to learn something that they're going to benefit from. Okay, so whether this means that you're becoming wiser, or you're growing, you know, possibly from this experience here, that this change that has kind of brought you to this point where you're going to be, you know, more mentally prepared or ready to kind of face, you know, this new chapter that has kind of surfaced in your life here. Okay. Now, also what I love about this card too is that this is also, you know, kind of getting ready to like start something new, or just kind of having something in your thought process of how you can kind of, you know, start this new chapter, if you will, or start something that is going to, you know, whether this is going to serve you as to making like more money, or to bring more prosperity into your life. This is very much something in which you're kind of like at the beginning stages of. Very similar here with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse. So I definitely feel like this is just like in the very early stages, like you're trying to kind of figure out how you can, what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of like get this idea off the ground, okay, if that makes sense. So whether this is a passion of yours, whether this is something like you're just trying to focus on, you know, for yourself, as far as like you and your loved ones, you and your family, if you are like, you know, the breadwinner or the head of the household, you know, just trying to find a sense of security within within that, whether this is like finding a new place to live, or just finding, you know, a way to make more money, you know, to bring in, this is, I feel like middle of the month, that's where kind of like your focus is going to be on more so. Okay. Now with the Ace of Pentacles in reverse here, this just means it's, again, very much at the early stages. It's almost like you've got all these ideas, but you don't really know how to make it, you know, not applicable, but you know, you don't almost know how to make it into reality. Like, how do I actually apply this? Like, I've got these ideas, but I don't know, like you're almost finding an excuse to kind of be like, no, I don't know if I can do that, or I don't know how I would do that. Like, it's just very much in its early stage. Okay. One thing though to keep kind of in mind with this, however, is that, you know, just because it's still in like its infancy stage with you trying to plan out what it is that you're wanting to do, or how you're trying to kind of get this idea off the ground, this just means that it's a temporary delay. It doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It absolutely can and will happen, so long as you kind of stay determined and stay on track. Okay. Now, at the end of the month here, we've got this Eight of Swords. So this is where I say, you know, just try not to be discouraged or disheartened, even though you don't have every idea worked out just yet, because again, this is just in the early stage. Don't get yourself too caught up into that. As I mentioned, be patient, be, you know, be diligent, definitely stay on track, because if you don't, that's where the Eight of Swords comes into play here. Okay. Now, because this is in the future position, this is the end of the month, keep in mind that you guys definitely have the power to change this. Nothing is set in stone here. I've mentioned this actually in quite a few of the other videos as well, because anytime I do predictions with the tarot cards, I always want to give that as a disclaimer, you know, to all of my clients and to my viewers, just because, you know, this is never, you know, 100% guarantee. You have free will. You have the power to change what you don't like. These, you know, tarot card readings are more so guidelines. They're more so tools to kind of help you on your journey. That's really what the messages here are for. And so if you don't like something that you necessarily hear, then the good news is you have the power to change that. Okay. So with the Eight of Swords here, if you notice, it's a woman blindfolded and bound, but she's surrounded by these swords, okay? Now, it almost looks like first glance that she's stuck, but if you were to look closer, you would see that her bounds are actually really loose, and she can actually, untie herself, take off the blindfold, and walk away, okay? She's not stuck there. And what this really represents is it kind of represents your mind, or our minds, I should say, okay? And what we sometimes keep ourselves in. Sometimes if we're dealing with any negativity or any self-doubt, we tend to kind of get into this like vicious circle of like, no, I can't do this, I can't do that. And it's without even really realizing, it's almost like we put ourselves there because we were the ones who told ourselves we couldn't, we can't. Nobody else did. You did. Okay. And that's really where that message kind of comes through there, because it's basically trying to tell you, hey, you have the power to change whatever it is that you don't like, or whatever it is that you don't want to. You don't have to stay in this negative, mindset. And I don't mean to say constant negative, or use the word negative, but, you don't have to stay in this mindset where you just feel like you're not able to rise above. Okay. So definitely keep that in mind, Sagittarius, like as the month goes on and as you're trying to, figure out what it is that you're wanting to do or what it is that you're wanting to start, give it time, give yourself time to really kind of think things through. And then that's when I think the real ideas will kind of like fruition a little bit more as far as like how you're able to achieve those things. Okay. So give it time. You don't have to rush anything, and definitely don't kind of doubt yourself, because you guys definitely have a lot of abundance here. You have a lot of things in your life that I think do bring you fulfillment. Okay. And just because you're trying to start a new, whether it's a new chapter or like a new career or a new way to bring in, a sense of financial security for you and your family, it doesn't mean that you have to like quit just because you don't have everything worked out right away. Okay, so definitely keep that in mind. All right, let's go ahead and start with your oracle cards and we'll see what other messages that we have. So we're going to start with your Magical Mermaids and Dolphins oracle. The first one that we have is Music for Manifesting. To manifest rapidly, think of your desire while you chant, hum, sing, or play music. Okay. So for many of you, this might be helpful, especially with this Ace of Pentacles here, because, this is, like I said, all about like the beginning stage. So if you're trying to manifest, this new plan or this new idea into reality and you're having a tough time, try playing some music. Try using that to kind of help you clear your mindset, and kind of focus on what it is that you're trying to bring into fruition. Okay. Next, we have playtime. The dolphins know the importance of playing, as joy creates miracles and manifestation. Okay, so again, another manifestation mention here. Okay, so again, this is kind of all about like not taking things so serious. So, just kind of allowing yourself to have a little bit of fun, a little bit of playtime. I think, with being able to do that, again, that's not going to make things seem undoable, or I mean, not undoable. I guess like undoable, or it's not going to make things seem so hard as you're trying to figure out, exactly how and why or whatever that you're going to do to get to the point in which you want to manifest, right? So this kind of prevents getting into this mindset by allowing yourself to just kind of have fun. Don't take things so serious, kind of let loose a little bit and focus on what it is that you're trying to manifest, okay? And then we have Father Healing. Your personal power increases as you give any father-related issues to heaven. Okay, so I feel like this can definitely be for some of you specifically if you have had any, or if you have any issues regarding your father. This might have been something this is just something that's coming through right now that I'm thinking of in regards to this kind of self-doubt over here. If you have had any kind of connection in regards to possibly like growing up where maybe your father didn't necessarily give you the sense of encouragement that maybe you needed as a child. And so you were always, as an adult or as you grew up, kind of like harder on yourself because of it. This would to me, this would make sense why you can kind of put yourself into this situation. I know, speaking for myself, I'm not a Sagittarius, but speaking for myself personally, I always was the type of person that did anything and everything to kind of get my father's approval. Like, that meant the world to me, to be able to, get straight A's, or to be able to, get 100% on a spelling test, things like that. So it was like, I wanted his approval. I wanted his, acceptance, kind of a thing. And as I've gotten older, it's almost just like I continue to kind of be like that. Like, I try to be the best, if you will, like in whatever it is that I'm trying to do. And if I don't, or if I fail, it's almost like I put myself in the situation as like this negative headspace where, like, I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, I can't do that, and that can kind of stem from, early childhood situations where you had this sort of set of expectations to try to live up to, and that's kind of carried on over with you into adulthood. So again, just take what resonates. That may not be for everybody, but because this came in, I feel like that's something for those of you who needed to hear that. Okay. So if you find that you tend to have a harder time letting go of like little situations or little things or little changes, there's a possibility that this could be why you've held on to, whatever father-related issues, and it's kind of carried on over now into your adult life, which has kind of made things a little bit difficult for you to kind of then change or accept change, I guess I should say, and all that. Okay. So again, that may only be for a few of you, but I definitely wanted to get that message across. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and move on to your Moonology Oracle. The next one that we have, this is the gibbous moon. You're very close to achieving your goal. Oh, I love this. Okay. So again, kind of stay on track, Sagittarius. Okay. Stay focused, stay on track with what it is that you're trying to achieve. Just because it doesn't come off right away, or it doesn't seem like you have all the answers right away, just know that you are close to what it is that you're trying to achieve. You just kind of have to give yourself time, maybe a little bit of playtime, listen to music, whatever it is that's going to help you kind of get to your manifestation a lot quicker. Okay. Oh, look at that. Full moon in Sagittarius. All right. So look at the bigger picture. Okay. This is I feel like a great tool here to really kind of help you stay on track with everything. Okay. So if you look at the bigger scheme of things, the bigger picture, especially when it comes to like the beginning and end of the month here, with possibly having to have a little difficulty with this sudden change. And even at the end of the month, when things may not seem like they're getting off the ground as quickly as you want them to, this might be a good reminder to just remember the bigger picture, that, what is it that you're trying to work towards? It's not going to happen overnight. But if it does happen, what will that mean for you? What will that mean for your family? Things like that. So if you look at it on a grander scheme, then I think it'll become a little bit easier for you to kind of deal with until you get to the point where you want to be. Okay. All right. So next we have the 5th house. Romance is in the air. Expect old passions to be rekindled. Look for new ones to be stirred. Ooh, nice. Okay. So Sagittarius, you got some rekindling and some romance the month of July. That's exciting. And then we have Chiron, the wounded healer. Although a deep and powerful wound may be exposed, a powerful healing gateway has just opened. Okay. So yeah, I feel like this mainly kind of speaks to this father healing card because, as I talked about earlier with that message, like this is something in which, it could be very deep rooted. Absolutely. Okay. And it might just be the time to kind of allow yourself to heal from this. Okay. In order for you to be able to move on yourself, especially if you've been one that's just kind of kept that to yourself. You haven't really necessarily shared your feelings, or you haven't really necessarily addressed it, maybe even with your father, if they're, still in the picture. So, definitely do what you can, I think, in this process, just to kind of help you get through whatever it is that you need to, in order for you to kind of go after what it is that you're wanting to and succeed. Okay. All right, so the next card that we have is discipline. I can accomplish what I set my mind to. Absolutely. So staying disciplined, staying on track, as I mentioned earlier with that Ace of Pentacles. And relationships. All right, this says, I am attracted to those people who serve my higher good. Absolutely. So Sagittarius, you guys have a couple things in regards to romance. I might have to do a love predictions video next for all the signs. You guys so far have been the first ones that have talked about love or romance. So that's exciting. All right, so this one we have, this is sanctuary, retreat, haven, refuge, and oasis. So this month for July, this also might be a really good time for you to kind of retreat. Definitely find a bit of, refuge, whether that's maybe some playtime, just something to kind of help you through, the little, I don't want to say tough times, but little hiccups along the way, okay? Or these little changes, or you just trying to gain, again, that sense of clarity to kind of go after what it is that you want, okay? Then we have tendency. So this says dedication, determination, and stubbornness. Yes. So I feel like this kind of speaks a little bit more so true to you, Sagittarians. I know sometimes can be a little stubborn on what it is that you want or what you're trying to go after, or whether that means you feel like you can or can't do something. So again, just kind of keep that in mind. Like, it's a good thing to be determined, definitely, and be dedicated. I feel like that kind of speaks more so true to you guys as individuals. But I feel like this is going to be more so as a reminder too, for the whole month, just to kind of like stay on track. Okay. So that way you don't lose sight of what it is that you're going after. Okay. All right. So next we have safety. So this says, don't be too proud to go back to shore. Okay. So again, this kind of speaks a little bit to that stubbornness, to the pride, to your pride. So, if for any reason you feel as if though the situation is just out of your control, or if you just feel like you're stuck in a situation, whether it's at the beginning or end of the month, just remember, like, you have, I think, people around you that are there to support you. It definitely seems like within your relationships, absolutely. So this might be a really good time to kind of like confide in those closest to you as well, just to kind of find that sense of safety and comfort, okay? And I feel like that too will also kind of help with your sense of clarity and with kind of going, or helping you kind of navigate where it is that you're wanting to go, okay? And then we have change. Know when to move to a new shell, especially if yours no longer fits. I love this. So kind of just knowing, again, when it's time to make the necessary changes in your life. As I mentioned at the beginning of the month here with that Judgment card in reverse, that there might be a change that's just out of your control. That's just happening. So, and again, it might just be something that is maybe needed or, necessary. But kind of being able to go with the flow, accept the change as it is. And I promise that this is going to be something that I think will help you guys in the long run. Okay, especially when it comes to you just trying to find a sense of security within yourself, and being able to, learn to have fun in the process. So Sagittarius, that was your reading. Definitely let me know if this resonated with you. I would love to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and consider giving it a thumbs up. It truly helps out the channel. And I want to thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.